Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week, for the week of October 13th to the 19th, 2024. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any videos next week or something. There's something I have to attend. I'm not sure if I'm going to fit it in within the time frame or anything like that, so I'll see if I'm able to do it. If not, then unfortunately, it's not going to happen or anything like that, though. So just a quick heads up if you don't see a video from next week, or though either a video or two or something like that. But anyway, we got 4 stories to cover this week, including Xbox having their partner preview this week that happened, a new head in charge of the Xbox game studios, rumors about this report that Bandai Namco has laid off some not only employees but canceled some projects, even one working for supposedly a Nintendo commission project though, and a huge leak hit with basically regarding Game Freak with a lot of information that have coming out, including the code name for the rumored Switch 2 or the Switch successor and all. If you're interested where I got the source of these information, links will be in the description down below of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And of course, if there's any parts of this video you wish to skip to or anything like that, also timestamps will be in the description of this video or at the beginning and everything like that. But before we get started though, I do like to do what's called the quick My 2 Cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into basically a huge amount of details. Supposedly this first one has to do with a game called Anton Blast, if I'm saying the name correctly though. It supposedly had its release date pushed to December. Obviously some issues may have popped up though, and you know what? Unfortunately, sometimes stuff like this does happen and all. We also learned that supposedly Forgotten Memories Remastered Edition will be coming to the Nintendo Switch soon. Supposedly this was a game that was originally supposed to come to the Wii U, and obviously, given what how the Wii U turned out for Nintendo and all, they obviously decided to bring this over to Nintendo Switch though. We don't have a release date yet on this one though, so we'll have to wait and see. I assume it's coming to other systems as well. I believe it's also making its way over to PC. So, but in either case though, this game will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and judging by the trailer that was recently shown, I do feel a little bit of a Resident Evil coming to it, or old school Resident Evil to a certain extent. The director of the Tales of Kenza game though has slammed a lot of the publishers out there in terms of their desire to create the next Fortnite and everything like that. And honestly, I don't completely disagree with what this person is saying though. I mean, we've seen lately a lot of publishers really try to push, ranging from making their games the next Fortnite, the next Call of Duty, or Call of Duty Warzone, or Call of Duty in general, to really pushing, you know, like the whole monetization and everything like that. I think the former head of Sony's PlayStation, I think Sean Layton, made a comment about this though recently. So yeah, I kind of can see that, considering that a lot of these big AAA publishers are trying to push those games to be like that, and unfortunately it doesn't always turn out to be the way that they want it to be. I mean, look what happened with Concord, for crying out loud. Although there are supposedly reports that Sony will try to revive it, I'm just not sure they're going to be able to succeed in everything like that. So yeah, I kind of don't disagree with what this director is basically saying and all. We also learned that supposedly a new Tron game is being in development called Tron Calix's Speed, and will be going onto the Switch next year, and I also believe other platforms as well. There is a trailer for this though. When I saw that Devolver Digital was evolved to a certain degree, it certainly kind of caught my attention to a certain extent, and judging from what they showed so far, it doesn't look that bad or anything like that. So it's probably one I will be keeping an eye out indeed. I do enjoy Tron in general, even though it doesn't have the hugest following and everything like that. I still enjoy the original Tron and Tron Legacy to this day and all. We also learned that supposedly basically Nintendo is now recruiting for basically intellectual property lawyers and everything like that. Obviously this has to do with making sure they protect their IPs and everything, which I still stand behind my position that sometimes I do think Nintendo can go a little bit overboard when it comes to protecting their IPs. Sometimes they're in the right, sometimes not so much to be exact though. So it'll be interesting to see who signs up for this, who's willing to handle this and everything like that though. We know last time we heard is that they're going after the creators of, I believe Pal World, which I think recently just got released in Japan despite the whole situation going on there. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. But obviously Nintendo is recruiting for more lawyers to protect their intellectual property. We also learned that the manga/anime Death Notes will be getting a PS5, PS4 adaptation, everything like that. This was spotted on a ratings boards. However, we don't know exactly what kind of direction they're going with this. I mean, it could be a graphic novel kind of approach. Could be point click. It could be action, adventure, RPG. So it remains to be seen exactly what direction they will go with this. So, but obviously, Death Note fans might want to keep an eye out this for basically if you have a PS5 or a PS4. We also are learning that there's more evidence pointing towards the idea that Xbox is going to do with their cloud gaming is going to be able to stream your own games though. So for those who are not familiar, up to this point, the only way to stream games from Xbox is via, if you have GamePass and everything like that. And games that are on there, you could stream those games though. So the idea to be able to stream your own games is certainly a very interesting idea. I am curious to see how this is all going to play out for Microsoft, and I'm also curious to see basically will this be games you actually if you purchase them, will you be able to stream them and everything? So there's certainly a lot of questions to ask about how this approach is going to be done and everything. And finally, last but not least, one of the games announced at Xbox Partner Preview, Mouse PI for Hire, is basically will be coming to the Nintendo Switch coming sometime next year though. It remains to be seen whether it's going to be just for the Switch or a cross-gen title, which there are the belief that the Switch 2 or Switch successor, whatever Nintendo's going to call it, will be out sometime next year. So it remains to be seen on that, but still very nice to hear, assuming this report's correct, that this is coming to the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo's console nevertheless. And finally, in the movie and TV show part of our Quick My 2 Cent, we saw a teaser trailer for Invincible Season 3. I have been watching the show on Amazon Prime. I watched the first and second season, and I definitely like what I'm seeing. I definitely like the different take on the whole superhero approach, similar to, I'm still trying to finish watching, The Boys and everything like that. So this is one I'll be definitely keeping an eye out. And continuing on with Amazon Prime Video, it appears to be there is a report that the executive producer has departed in terms of God of War and everything like that. And supposedly they are looking at maybe hiring new writers, although there are reports claiming that the script that they put out, original script, seemed to be that they liked it or anything like that. Obviously, from what they understand, they're doing it over and everything. Clearly, they want to try to get this one correct and everything like that, because we have seen, TV shows and movies based off of video games. We've seen some hit and misses though, although they have gotten a bit better. But you probably saw what happened with, Borderlands and everything like that. And of course, the mixed response to basically stuff like, Halo, to the Resident Evil on Netflix not getting the best reception and everything. So we'll see. Maybe they want to try to get this one right and hit the landing on this one. So we'll have to wait and see. And finally, supposedly there's a report that Tom Holland has talked about in regards of the Spider-Man 4 and everything like that. Supposedly the report is that he does like the script and what they have written though, but clearly there has to be some areas they need to iron out and everything, which if that's the case, that's actually pretty good. I am curious to see how Spider-Man 4 will play out, considering how the ending to Spider-Man, I think No Way Home or something, I forgot the name, or Marvel Studios Spider-Man 3 and everything. So I'm curious to see how that one will do, and whether or not we might see maybe Miles Morales make an appearance at that one and all. Okay, with our Quick My 2 Cent part now done, along with the movie and TV show part, we'll get it started with our first story, and this one has to do with, an unfortunate situation surrounding Game Freak and all. Now, anytime anyone hears the name of Game Freak, they think about, the Pokemon franchise and everything like that. They are well known as being the ones in charge of that franchise, with the collaboration with Nintendo. They have done other games before in the past though, but most of them they are known for basically the Pokemon franchise and all. Well, this week it became a bit of sort of a problem with them, as it turns out to be that they suffered basically a hack. The hack revealed a lot of information, including basically the code name for the Switch 2 or Switch successor, however you want to call it, or anything like that. Excuse me. In an article from IGN, which will read the update in just a minute, it reads that, quote, Pokemon developer Game Freak has reportedly suffered a significant hack resulting in the leak of stolen data that includes code names for the 10th generation Pokemon games and even the Nintendo Switch 2. As reported by Nintendo Life, data leak included the codename of Nintendo's next generation console, reported Ounce, the codename of an unannounced 10th generation Pokemon game, reported Gaia, and the codename with the announcement of Pokemon Legends ZAIKKAKU. Neither Nintendo or the Pokemon Company has issued a statement on the leak. There's an update, and I'll read that statement I'll read it right now. According to the update, this is what Game Freak had to say in confirming the company suffering a data breach in August of 2024. Quote, the company said its servers were illegally accessed with 2,606 cases of current, former, and contract employees' name and email address access. The Japanese language statement carried a date of October 10th, 2024, and does not mention the Pokemon data that has emerged since. In the statement, Game Freak apologized to all those affected by the data breach and insists the vulnerability at the heart of the hack was since rebuilt and everything like that. So obviously not something great in terms of basically this hack happening. I'm pretty sure Nintendo and Game Freak are not pleased with this. Obviously they're going to look and see what they can do to try to prevent this from happening, but I'm not necessarily good though. The thing that was kind of interesting to me was hearing basically the code name for Nintendo's next generation console reported Ounce, which interesting, but I won't say it's anything, amazing or anything like that. We've heard, different code names before in the past for many different names for the system. I mean, the N64, I remember hearing the word Project Dream, that was it originally called. And at one time it was called Nintendo Ultra 64 before settling on Nintendo 64. Before GameCube came out, it was referred to as Project Dolphin. Before the Wii came out, it was referred to, Revolution. Before, basically the Wii U came out, there was the name Coffee, considered that was the name for it. And of course, before the Switch came out, it was called, NX and everything like that. So the fact that there was a code name for the Switch 2 or Switch successor, that really doesn't surprise me or anything like that. What I am hoping for and waiting for is basically when Nintendo finally reveals that system. That is something I am looking forward to. But either case, this data leak or something like that, yeah, not great for Nintendo, not great for Game Freaks and all. So be very interesting to see if this if they address this hopefully down the road, and we'll see if something like this happens again or not. If not, then that could be a problem for Game Freak and everything like that. So overall, very unfortunate this hack happened to Game Freak and everything. Hopefully this issue has been resolved and everything like that. As far as the code name for the Switch 2 and all, honestly, not really surprising. We've heard, like I said before, we've heard different code names for Nintendo systems in the past and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with Bandai Namco and supposedly a report, at least from Bloomberg, regarding some layoffs and possibly some canceled titles and everything like that. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at basically Bandai Namco, and an unfortunate report, assuming what Bloomberg is saying is true, is that it does seem to indicate that there may be at least some trouble with the company. I won't say like in the area of what Ubisoft is right now, but there might be some trouble with some of the employees and everything like that. Now, one of the things that we've seen a lot of lately has been a lot of layoffs from the gaming industry, though, in terms of some of the employees, though. There has been some claims that a lot of it may have been during COVID when everyone was staying home, that they were hiring all these employees, and now with the situation sort of now reversing a little bit with people going out and everything, COVID, they don't need as much employees as they used to. Other arguments is that basically we've seen, the budget for a lot of these video games have ballooned over the years, which really isn't surprising. I think Spider-Man 2 cost like a whole lot of money. I mean, look at Grand Theft Auto 6, that game coming out. I wouldn't be surprised that cost a lot more and everything like that. And unfortunately, it does seem to sound, again, if what Bloomberg is saying is correct, is that Bandai Namco is unfortunately not immune to this in anything. In an article published by Bloomberg, which unfortunately is behind a paywall, but with this one from from Nintendo Life, it reads that, quote, that developer Bandai Namco Entertainment is reportedly making a swath of cuts to its workforce, which includes canceling or pausing a number of projects. According to the report by Bloomberg, which unfortunately is behind the paywall, a Nintendo Commission project is among the canceled titles, along with games based on the anime properties of One Piece and Naruto. I think there was recently a One Piece game that came out, One Piece Odyssey. I believe that's the one. What that Nintendo project is, we don't know, but Bandai Namco has previously worked with Nintendo multiple times over the years, helping out with Super Smash Bros. On 3DS and Wii U and Ultimate, as well as Pokemon Tournament. It also created half of the assets of 4 chorus characters and carts, part of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Alongside this, Bandai Namco is reportedly using I have a hard time saying this word, but it's referred to as an expulsion room, to put pressure on around 200 employees to leave voluntarily rather than outright fire them. Bloomberg reported that this is a traditional Japanese approach to reducing staff, as the employees are given no work to do while in the room. Oftentimes, employees use that time to look for other jobs. Bloomberg's source has understandably asked not to be identified. However, just last month, an anonymous website called Leak Press claimed that Bandai Namco is using various methods to force employees to leave. A representative at Bandai Namco told Bloomberg, "Our decision to discontinue games are based on Constance's assessment of the situation, say that many employees might have to wait time before they are assigned to their next project." The reps also pushed back aside claim that this expulsion room are being used, saying there is no organization like that being used to pressure people to leave voluntarily. They also refused to elaborate on Leak Press, simply stating that the company knew of its existence. Just last year, Bandai Namco officially announced Bandai Namco Studio 2 and Studio S, a development studio specifically built working on commissioned projects, with them even being linked to a Nintendo project. Then earlier this year, users on social media spotted that the studio was no longer hiring for positions related to a Nintendo project. No mention of that studio is made in a report, but we have no idea what it's working on at the moment, or if that Nintendo project was one that it was working on. So, assuming this expulsion room thing is true, I'm kind of a little scummy in my opinion. The fact that you force these employees just to sit there and not do any work or anything like that, or create an environment for them to go look for another job. I am not really a big fan of this kind of approach or anything like that. But assuming this report is necessarily true, though, it is very unfortunate to hear that some of these games, however, have been canceled at all. But the one about the Nintendo Commission that one was kind of interesting, because I was very curious to see exactly what that Nintendo game might be if this report is saying is true. There have been rumors for quite some time that Bandai Namco could be working on, say, Kid Icarus Uprising. There was always that possibility, though nothing has been confirmed. And there was, a while back, the rumor claiming that Bandai Namco, or at least a part of Bandai Namco, was working on basically Metroid Prime 4 before Nintendo decided to restart the project and let Retro Studio handle it, though. Again, nothing to fit. We don't know if that was official or not. Even rumors about Rig Racer possibly coming to the Nintendo Switch, though, again, nothing really official or anything like that. So, I mean, whatever this project is, it is unfortunately that we won't see the light of day on this one, though. So, hopefully, what the rep is saying is true, and these employees are being waiting to be turned over to another project. But still, it wouldn't surprise me if this expulsion room does exist and everything like that. And I will admit, I'm not a fan of what this approach may be, assuming what Bloomberg is saying is correct. So overall, I hope if these employees have been let go, hopefully they're able to find another job and everything like that, though. And a bit unfortunate to hear some of these games canceled, especially this Nintendo one, assuming this report from Bloomberg is true and all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3. And this one has to do with Xbox Game Studio having a new boss, being in charge of, all the game studios that are under the Xbox banner and everything. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my Choose Cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Xbox Game Studios, particularly a new person who's going to be in charge and everything like that. So, it is kind of interesting to see here that there's one person in charge of really a lot of studios that Microsoft now owns, including ones that they have purchased, whether it's Ninja Theory, to Bethesda, to even, Activision Blizzard, since we all saw that deal, the whole drama played out last year and how that deal eventually went through and everything like that. But what's more interesting is to hear that the person who's going to be taking over in charge of Xbox Game Studios is the person who was also working at Rare or Rare in general. And apparently what I've heard to Rare is the current Rare right now that worked on, the Kinect games during, I think, the 360 era and I think Xbox One, to basically, Sea of Thieves, which has become pretty much a success for Rare and everything, including another game that supposedly, I would say, sounds like it is in development hell. I think it's called, it's something Edwin or something like that. I apologize if I'm not getting the name right or anything like that. But anyway, in an article from Pure Xbox, it reads that, quote, Rare's boss, Craig Ducan, if I'm saying his name correctly, is set to be the new leader over at Xbox Game Studio, which current Xbox Game Studio head Alan Hartman is set to retire per GameIndustry.biz. Hartman only took on the role in 2023 after leading Forza developer Turn 10 for a number of years. Duncan will go down a similar route after heading up Sea of Thieves Studios for over 10 years in England. Matt Booty describes Duncan's new role. This is what he has said. Quote, in his new role, Craig will continue to focus on helping our studios deliver high-quality, differentiate gaming experience that could grow into a successful franchise and reach more players by investing in new IPs. This is a big job over at Team Green. It's a role that boss Phil Spencer once took before graduating to head of Xbox and eventually CEO of Microsoft Gaming. We all want to see Xbox Game Studios thrive, and we wish Duncan and his team the best of luck leading them forward. So, kind of interesting to hear that this was a role that Phil Spencer took on before becoming the CEO of Microsoft Gaming and all. Does this mean this new guy will eventually be the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming? Again, we don't know. It's too early to tell if that kind of situation could happen. it is possibility that this could be Phil Spencer's sort of way of setting things up for once, Phil Spencer decides to step down and retire and everything like that. So that is a possibility in a way. Or it could be what this other person did who took on the role for, in 2023 and then decided to, basically step down, set to retire and everything like that. So I mean, this could go either way, to be exact, though. And when he does take over these studios, hopefully this would mean that this could lead to sort of a better situation with Xbox Game Studios and kind of avoid maybe some of the situations like we saw with, Redfall and everything like that. Maybe try to, make sure like it's a bit more organized, get everything, under control, because, I mean, before that, we've seen situations with, ranging from Halo Infinite and the content drop for that to, as I mentioned, Redfall and everything like that. So hopefully this new person will be able to help like organize these studios a bit more and maybe better and everything like that, though. And maybe this will open the door to maybe bringing in new IPs or even reviving some old IPs. Like, I mean, just recently, we're learning that Banjo-Tooie is coming to the Nintendo Switch Online. Maybe he can help try to revive maybe Banjo-Kazooie and stuff. Maybe get a brand new entry into the franchise and everything. So, time will tell how this person will handle basically his new role over at being the head of Xbox Game Studios, but I wish him the best of luck, and hopefully we'll see what he brings to the table and everything like that. So overall, we have a new head of Xbox Game Studios. What he does, how he's going to handle things there is going to remain to be seen. And while this isn't confirmed or anything like that, it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that he could, maybe at one point, take over from Phil Spencer. I mean, since Phil Spencer started there and then moved his way up, maybe this is sort of a way, maybe this opens the door for him moving up to eventually being the head of Microsoft Gaming. But like I said before, time will ultimately tell if that does happen or not. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part, and this one is basically a look at the Xbox Partners preview that happened this week. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, I want to take a look at, or give my take on what about the Xbox Partners preview event, or the showcase that happened this week, though. So there were a couple of rumors here and there about the possibility of Microsoft holding, a partner preview or partner showcase, though. This was sort of like, in a way, kind of coming off the heel when they had their, their Xbox showcase back in June, which I would say I did like that one. I thought that one was pretty good, and Microsoft definitely had a lot to show for that event. Well, when it became clear that this event was going to happen, I did decide to watch it, though. It was about, I think, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes long, and it focused mostly on third-party games coming to the Xbox system, PC, and, of course, GamePass as well. And after watching this, I would say it wasn't bad or anything like that. There were some pretty neat announcements, but when compared to their June showcase that they had, I honestly felt like the June showcase was definitely better and everything like that. So I'm going to break it down into what I'd like, what I didn't like, mixed, or not 100% I'm sure about. The first one has to do with Mouse, if I'm saying that correctly, PI for Hire, though. This is a game I've been looking at for quite some time, ever since there was like an early access footage of it being shown and everything like that. It's sort of the rubber hose, 1930s cartoon, and we've seen that used for in games like Cuphead and everything like that, and now it's being used in sort of a first-person shooter perspective and everything like that. This is one I've been keeping an eye on, like I mentioned, for a long time, and this is one that is definitely on my radar to try out and everything like that. I do think it is coming to Game Pass. I remember hearing last time that it is. I don't know if that's changed or anything like that. We do know it's going to be coming to Nintendo system, but we don't know if it will be Switch only or the Switch successor or cross-gen or anything like that. But in either case, Mouse PI for Hire is definitely one that's on my radar next year. That one is definitely going to be keeping an eye out for. The next one they showed that I did like was Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza, if I'm saying the name correctly, in Hawaii. I have been reading on and off about this title, to be exact. That supposedly it's sort of a Yakuza take on the whole Assassin's Creed 4 to a certain degree, and that certainly isn't a bad thing, considering that Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is loved by a lot of folks out there, to be exact. So this one I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out. We have seen the Yakuza series be used for different games, from its action to its RPG for folks with Like a Dragon and everything like that. So I'm curious if this is taking a page out of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I'm very curious to see how this one is going to play out and everything. The next one is WUCHANG Fallen Feathers, though. I believe this one is day one on Game Pass, though. It is basically a Souls-like game and everything like that. And judging from what they showed, it looked very interesting indeed. And since it's being day one on Game Pass, it's definitely going to be one on my radar to try out and all. The next one is Cronos, The New Dawn. Supposedly, judging by some of the trailers that was shown, this one I'm definitely getting a what is it? I think Phoenix Rising or anything like that, if I'm saying the name correctly. It was the one that Ubisoft did. It was made by the same folks who did Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm sort of getting that kind of vibe for it to a certain degree, and it's definitely one I'll be keeping an eye on. No, I'm sorry. That's Eternal Standing. I mean, Cronos, The New Dawn. However, this one, I apologize. I screwed that one up, but that's on me and everything like that. This one, however, definitely looks like a little bit of a Resident Evil / Dead Space vibe to it to a certain degree, and that certainly isn't a bad thing or anything like that. So this one I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out indeed, though. So this one is certainly one I'll be looking at. The one I was trying to mention, I think the game was Immortal Phoenix Rising, is Eternal Stranded, though. This is the one that I meant to mention about. Apologize on that one, though. So certainly this one also looks nice indeed, though. I know it's being made by some of the folks who did Assassin's Creed, to some of them who worked on Dragon Age, and since it's day one on Game Pass, this is one I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out indeed. As far as what I didn't like, mixed or not 100% sure about, I would say I'm somewhat mixed on the announcement of Eden Zero and all. Now, to be clear, I am enjoying the show on Netflix. I've been watching it lately and everything like that, and the gameplay that they showed so far, clips of it being sort of an action RPG, does sound a little bit promising, though, but at the same time, it is coming from Konami, and Konami unfortunately doesn't have the greatest reputation out there, although basically they did put out the Silent Hill 2 game, though, that was done by Blooper Team, which seemed to have gotten a pretty good response, and Cronos, The New Dawn is also being handled by Blooper Team indeed, so we'll see how this one plays out, though, but I'll keep an eye on it, though. But I am somewhat mixed with Eden Zero and all. I am a little disappointed that so far out of the presentation that was shown, though, that only 5 of the games that were announced there for this partner preview was only basically confirmed. Only 5 of them were confirmed for Game Pass, though, which, again, not bad, but it would have been nice if had all these games were announced that were going to be day one on Game Pass, since we've seen that before in the past. I don't know if that's a change in strategy on Microsoft's part or whether or not they're not been finalized, but in either case, though, it is a little bit unfortunate that not all of the games will be on Game Pass and everything like that. The next one is, I'm not 100% sure about the Control co-op spin-off, one called FBC Firebreak that they showed off. I'm not really sure about this one, especially from Remedy, though. Now, that may not be something that interests me. It might be interest for those who are into this co-op stuff, and that might click with them. But as far as I could tell, this one did not really click with me, to be exact. And finally, last but not least, I will say, as far as announcements go, there were some interesting announcements, and there were some games that I am looking forward to that was shown during this partner preview and all, but I would say there weren't any real big announcements that kind of sticked out for me or anything like that. Not that I'm saying there were any bad games. I'm not saying every game they showed in this partner preview was bad. It's just there wasn't any real big announcements or gotcha moment or surprises or anything like that that really stood out, at least for me and everything. Overall, I would say this partner preview wasn't bad or anything like that, but I won't think it's anything spectacular at all or anything like that. At its best, there were some interesting games. Mouse PI for Hire is the one that stood out for me for the most, though, along with Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and several other games. So there were certainly some nice games that stood out during this partner preview, but at its worst, though, still somewhat mixed with Eden Zero, especially with Konami. A little disappointed that only 5 of the games were announced for GamePass, and one of the games I'm not sure about, the Control spin-off and everything like that. Excuse me. If I had to grade this presentation, I would say I've seen some that rated between like a B or C. I would say maybe B minus at its best, though. I mean, I won't say it's the worst presentation this year or anything like that, but when compared to June's presentation, it wasn't exactly their best. Do I think it was better than, say, Sony's last State of Play? I would say yes to a certain degree. I mean, outside of the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima that was announced at that State of Play, though, that was probably the only saving grace for that one. This one, they had more stuff to show, but it was like, I mean, this one isn't memorable or anything like that. Not that I'm saying it was terrible, but certainly not memorable. So if I had to give a grade to this Xbox Partners preview, I personally would give it sort of a B minus, at least in my view and all. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week for October 13th to the 29th, 2024. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about this big hack or leak from Game Freak and everything like that? Do you think this is a very damaging hack? Do you think Game Freak is more prepared if this happens again? Or you really think they're going to be not prepared or anything like that? What are your thoughts about this Bloomberg report about Bandai Namco, including several canceled projects, including one commissioned by Nintendo, and the so-called waiting room or anything like that? Do you think Bloomberg is spot on this report, or do you think a lot of this is being blown way out of proportion? What are your thoughts about the new head of Xbox Studio, Craig Duncan, or anything like that? Do you think he's going to bring something new to be in charge of all these Xbox game studios and all? And do you think this is setting the stage for him to replace Phil Spencer down the line? And what are your thoughts, at last but not least, about the Xbox partner preview that happened this week? Were there games that you thought that were really neat that they announced? Were there some games you felt like they should have announced? Or do you think this partner preview was bad? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me, Patreon, or Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video, so me watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.